Welcome to Tomahawk Stadium, where tonight, for the final time in the regular season, the Indian Hill Braves look to defend their home turf against the Deer Park Wildcats. I am Grant Moss, here to bring you this CHL matchup. It's senior night here at Indian Hill High School. Joining me shortly will be my partner, Brandon Greenhill. Indian Hill coming off a big win against Madeira, 49-0. That's their third consecutive shutout and their fourth of the season. In their last three games, the Braves defense has been able to shut out their opponents while their offense has outscored them 163-0. They'll look to extend it tonight against the Wildcats. The Braves getting set to run out of the tunnel now. As the fans start to fill the stadium here. Deer Park comes into this game not too hot, just 2 wins on the season so far. And here come your Indian Hill Braves. And joining me now is my partner, Brandon Greenhill.
How's it going?
Just getting excited here, getting ready for the game to start. Take a minute to catch your breath because kickoff is right around the corner. The Indian Hill Braves marching band coming out to perform the national anthem. So let's take a moment here and tune into the Braves marching band performance of the national anthem.
Mr. Tom Bolger. Tom was deeply involved in Indian Hill athletics for over 20 years. As head of the Indian Hill Youth Football and one of the leaders in youth lacrosse and the head of the Indian Hill Rec Commission, Tom touched the lives of literally thousands of Indian Hill youth over several generations serving as their coach and mentor. A father of 3 former Braves, he was involved in Indian Hill High School for 18 years. At this time, we'd like to have a moment of silence as our players release 18 balloons for each year Tom supported Braves football. Thank you.
that we saw there, a moment to honor Tom Bolzer, who passed away a couple days ago. His son Ted, actually, former Indian Hill football player, and spent some time playing football at Indiana as a Hoosier and was drafted to the Redskins, actually.
Well, it was a nice moment that they had right there.
Releasing 18 balloons to represent the 18 years that Tom supported Indian Hill football. So with that aside, we are just about set to start football.
Yeah, we're going to have a good game tonight here. Indian Hill coming into this one at 7-1. And looking at these past games that they've played, obviously we've called most of the home games here this season, apart from the Taylor game. But, you know, at Finneytown 2 weeks ago, or excuse me, apart from the Madeira game we didn't call, but at Finneytown, 72-0. Final score of that one.
Yeah, Finneytown, that's one of those teams that never really has been able to find any success in the CHL, and pretty much joining them at the bottom of the standings is Deer Park.
Yeah, and that other game that sticks out, obviously that Wyoming game that we called here together, ended up going into 2 overtime sessions. The one loss that sticks out on the schedule for Indian Hill, that was a sore one for them. What a great game that was, though. Went into overtime, some last-second scoring there, and then a blocked field goal that kept Indian Hill in the game. It's an amazing game of football. My favorite one that we've called so far this year.
The Braves will kick the ball off, giving Deer Park an opportunity at the first possession. The kick is away and fielded at the 5-yard line. Taken down by a tribe of Braves just across the 20-yard line.
Yeah, not much room on that return there. Got what he could. I think it was about 15 yards.
High School was a smoke-free zone. There's no smoking allowed on the ground.
The Braves' defense has probably been one of the stronger parts of this team. I mentioned before they've outscored their opponents 163-0. That defense not allowing a point over the last 3 weeks. 4th shutout of the season for the Braves' defense.
Well, they know how to get it done, and that's what they got to come out here, do it early. We saw flag there, but you know, it's all business for this defense tonight. They know what's expected of them. They know what they have to do. See if they set the tone early.
Deer Park already off to a rough start. A false start penalty will push them back 5 yards. First down and 15. Deer Park in a shotgun formation with a single back. Rolling out now, tucking it, and brought down. Number 53, Michael Oakes, bringing down the quarterback in the backfield.
Well, you know, it looked like they maybe tried to sell the run, or he just tried to, you know, bootleg out to the left side, but he didn't get any blocking.
Quarterback is Tyler Buchanan for the Deer Park Wildcats. A little chilly here this evening.
Yeah, it's a cold one. I can smell coffee, and we got a nice heater up here.
Ball handed off and taken around on the sweep. Brought down just in front of the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 3rd and about 14.
Yeah, you talked about this defense and how they haven't given up a single point in the past 3 games, and you know, I don't think you can say how much that means to the discipline of this defense and just how good they really are.
Rolling out, feeling the pressure. Buchanan lets it go and intercepted. Great play by the Braves defense. Michael Bright hauling that one in, and That'll give Reed Eichholz and company tremendous field position.
Well, look, I don't want to sound critical of that play, but immediately right off the snap, it never stood a chance. He, goes out to his left side and just kind of lobs it in the air, just praying that somebody would come down with it, and somebody did. Just the wrong team.
So the Braves set on offense now. Eichholz joined by Hunter Cure in the backfield. Some pushing and shoving. Penalty called, encroachment on the defense. Again, on the first play of the drive, Deer Park kind of shoots themselves in the foot. Ball hasn't even been snapped, and the Braves have already gained 5 yards.
Well, I guess you can credit some of that to the pregame jitters. They had all this emotion maybe coming into this game, and not quite with their heads in it yet.
Eichholz looking to his brother. Thrown to the back shoulder. Got him spun around, but falls incomplete. Second down.
Well, it looks like Dawson expected it to go to the inside, and Reed threw it to the outside there. Had to spin completely around and couldn't quite get to it. He was open. He had his defender beat.
Had about a step or two on him. That was a sure touchdown if thrown in the right spot. Running in motion and handing off to Cure on the read option. Hunter Cure splits some defenders and will drag his way inside the 10-yard line. First down, Braves.
Yeah, that's how you test the defense right away here on this first possession. They want to see if they're going to over-pursue to this guy, so what they do is they fake the end around. They end up giving it to Hunter Cure, and everybody bid on it, gave him some open room. Big run for a first down.
Zarian Hunter Cure coming off a big game last week. 3 rushing touchdowns. Ball thrown out to the side. Diving for the pylon is Eichholz, and it's a touchdown. The Braves are on the board first. Dawson Eichholz.
Oh, what a good play that was. They set up a screen out there to the right side, threw it to him immediately. Great blocking by the other receivers down the field. We'll take a look at the replay of it. He had great blocking. When he went to dive into the end zone, it looked like the ball came out. I think he might have already crossed the plane at that point. So the 6 points will stand. I think the most impressive thing about this is look not at the receiver here, but look at the other wide receivers making blocks down the field. They held him just long enough for him to dive in. Boy, that was close.
Yes, it was. And Lundberg puts it through the uprights to convert the point after. Braves now lead 7-0.
That was about as close as a call as it could get with him diving towards the end zone there. It looks like he planted that helmet right on the ball, but the 7 points going to stand, and it was a good play by Dawson.
Yes, it was. Good stretch to the pylon. All it has to do is cross the plane. Last week, the Braves had a lot of help in their victory against Madeira. Offensively, Zarian Hunter Cure rushed for 3 touchdowns. He was also joined by Reed Eichholz with 2 passing touchdowns and even a trick play, a wide receiver pass. Marco Fiore found Dawson Eichholz 84 yards for a score.
Oh, that kickoff goes out of bounds, but that's one of the things about this Indian Hill offense is they're not afraid to get creative in the playbook, and we've seen them time and time again throughout this season get deep in that playbook and do a lot of end arounds and a lot of trick plays.
So the Braves defense back out on the field. The Wildcats with good field position, not so tough this drive. Two backs in the backfield, and they will hand off. Running right and brought down, that was
Looked like Fiore made the tackle on that one. What a tackle it was.
Buchanan takes a shotgun snap, will look to the left side and picked off. And that's Michael Bright again with his second interception. He's taken it back, spinning through defenders, and finally brought down. So Michael Bright with his second interception of today's game, again giving the Braves tremendous field position.
Well, we're not even 3 minutes into the first quarter here, and the biggest issue that I'm seeing right now on this offense is that as soon as they snap the ball, nobody's blocking. So the quarterback is just taking the snap, immediately feeling the pressure, and just trying to get the ball out of his hands, which can sometimes be, construed as a mistake, but I don't blame him. I mean, he's getting no blocking. See, immediately under pressure, and that ball never had a chance either. Same thing.
Almost dropped it, able to pin it against his knee, and 2 passing attempts from Tyler Buchanan.
And as we talked, Eichholtz overthrew one there, going immediately to the end zone. Very aggressive offense.
Braves have 2 receivers on each side. Hunter Cure in the backfield, and they will option, and Reed Eichholtz will take it himself, working up through the Deer Park defense, past the first down marker. It'll be first down.
Well, I've said it all year. It's one of the huge advantages when you have a quarterback that can run. When he can fake the handoff and get Hunter Cure out there ahead of him as a lead blocker, it adds another guy that the defense doesn't account for in a run play. And now you have an extra blocker.
This time the Braves hand to Cure. He is stopped up by a gang of Deer Park Wildcats for a short gain.
CHC on the carry. Brings up second down for the Braves.
The Braves took that shot on first down in the end zone and now are just chipping away little by little, working their way ever closer to the goal line. Magruder sent in motion. A designed draw play. And look at that. Look at Reed Eichholtz just barrel through. He got that snap and was immediately hit by defenders and was still able to push through for a short gain.
Well, there's really no excuse for that. I know that he's a big quarterback. I know that he's 6'5", 250, 260 pounds of a quarterback. But when you have these big defensive linemen that get a hit on him in the backfield and there are multiple defenders in the area, you got to be able to bring him down.
Again, sending Magruder in motion, and this time he'll take it around on the end of the round, fighting for the pylon, and he dives and will be in for another. No, called out of bounds. I'd like to get another look at that from up here. It looked like he had reached.
Well, they're going to call him out of bounds at the 1, but another huge advantage of this Indian Hill team is they are getting excellent blocking by these other receivers, and it's the selflessness of the team.
As this replay rolls on, Reed Eichholtz, that looked like a touchdown.
That was a pretty bad missed call there. Eichholtz did call his own number, taking in for a score there, but the previous play was a touchdown, and oh well, still got points on the board.
Luke Lundberg in to attempt another extra point. Jack Storwald will serve as the holder. And that one is through the uprights. Good. 14-0 now. Braves over the Deer Park Wildcats. Still early in the first quarter. 7:25 left.
Well, this game's going to get real difficult for the Wildcats here really quickly. If they can't correct their pass blocking on offense, they're going to be pretty one-sided. As both pass attempts so far have been interceptions.
Yeah, they have I'm looking at their roster here, and it doesn't look like they have very much size. The biggest player on their team is just 215 pounds. And that's your offensive and defensive lineman, Alec Willing, number 66, and that's the biggest guy on their team.
Yeah, Indian Hill's quarterback weighs more than that, to put it in perspective for you.
Reed Eicholt standing 6'5", 235 pounds. When you're overmatched physically, like Deer Park seems to be, and emotionally, because let's not forget, it's senior night. These Indian Hill Braves are playing to protect their home turf one final time before they graduate.
Yeah, you never want to say that a team doesn't have a chance when they come into this game, but it would be very hard for the Wildcats to overcome the Indian Hill Braves tonight.
Deer Park, only 2 wins on their record this season. They were able to overcome Clark Montessori 42-34 in week 2. And again, won at Finneytown 34-7 on September 23rd. Since that game, they've lost to Madeira, Marymount, and Taylor.
Well, it's been a rough year for Deer Park, and you want to take something positive away from this game, and we'll see if they can't make some corrections and make this thing a little interesting.
Rush up the middle. The longest play from the offensive line of scrimmage.
Got a man down. It's Dan Becker.
Dan Becker, a senior, had 13 tackles leading the Braves defense last week against Madeira. And boy, that would be a tough loss heading into playoff time for the Braves. Let's hope he's okay, nothing too major.
I didn't see what exactly happened to him on that play. Looks like they're working on that right leg with the knee. Started out on around his ankle, so it looks like a right leg injury. But back to that play, it was, like you said, the best play so far for Deer Park. Got him 6 yards, and they had a pulling guard. And it's a good play. I mean, they just got to keep it going and try and see what happened to Becker on that play. Well, they got him up. That's good.
And he will walk off under his own power, so a good sign for Indian Hill.
Featured tonight, pumpkin risotto, vegan chocolate mousse, and gluten-free chocolates. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Becker.
So as Becker makes his way to the sideline, we will resume play. Just over 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Deer Park will send a man in motion, but they will hand to the halfback. That is Markel Hurd, a sophomore.
Well, that seems to be their best chance to move the football right now. They've obviously shown that to this point they cannot pass the ball down the field. So they're going with the run plays here, and they're using pulling guards, and they're getting extra blockers out in front, and it's worked the past 2 plays.
And the ball will be handed off. That's Jordan Yelling making his way through the Braves defense. Inching towards the first down marker. Will still be about a yard short. 2nd and 1 for the Wildcats. Deer Park going with a no huddle offense.
Going to try and make things interesting for this defense. Wear them out a little bit. Keep the ball moving and keep running the football.
Yelling going in motion. Read option will be handed to the running back. Hurd again will push forward for a first down. That's their first time moving the chains tonight.
Well, I think, they're moving the ball down the field now. I think it's the second first down of this drive, but the first drive that they're sustaining some success so far, and actually I think they're going to bring it back.
Penalties will really kill you, and it just goes to show you already Deer Park on 3 occasions have had penalties cost them.
Well, and that's the first one. You said they had 3 penalties. That's the first one that happened after the snap of the football. The other 2, they couldn't even get the ball off before they were making mistakes, which is not a recipe for success.
Yelling going in motion towards the short side of the field. They will hand to Hurd. Try it again. This time, the Braves defense snuffed it out, and he's taken down in the backfield for about a loss of a half yard.
Well, it brings up a 3rd and long, and, it's hard to run the football on 3rd down and 11, so they're going to have to pass again. We'll have to see if he can get any protection. It just seems like it's breaking down so quickly for the offensive line every time they try and throw the football. We'll see if that changes.
If I was Tyler Buchanan, I would stay away from number 5, Michael Bright. 2 passing attempts in his direction have already gone the other way.
And you can see the corner, Michael Bright, in the other corner, they're playing press coverage right now.
1 safety over the top. Now shifting back, and a flag thrown, a false start. Again, the Wildcats just can't seem to figure it out. False starts happen, but generally, when you're on offense, you know the snap count. And if not, you look at the ball.
Well, it just seems like a lack of discipline at this point. We're not even out of the first quarter. They've had 3 penalties before the snap of the ball.
And Buchanan will roll out and launch deep over the head of everybody. 4th down now. And the punt team will come on.
Saw an offensive lineman on that play immediately when the football was snapped, turned around to face the quarterback. You can't block anybody with your back turned. He just doesn't stand a chance throwing the football. You see why he rolls out as soon as the ball snapped. I guess he's learned that he's not going to get any time.
Didn't even seem like Deer Park had enough players on the field there. Almost blocked, but just gets it away. Fiore fields it at about the 40-yard line. Cuts to the outside now, looks back, and taken down just across the 50-yard line.
Well, he didn't have a lot of time to get the punt off, but it was a nice punt. Tried to flip field position, ends up near midfield. And I'll tell you one offense you don't want to give the football to on a short field is this Indian Hill offense.
When they're close enough, a lot of times, the very first play, they'll look to the end zone. We've already seen it tonight. I can only imagine how hard it is to prepare for this dynamic offense.
Well, they got a ton of guys that can hurt you. You know, if it's not either the Eichholz brothers, they got Hunter Cure, they got Fiore. And
Ball to the far side of the field for a first down.
You even see Worthland getting in on the action on that play. They got, just a bevy of guys that can make plays, get first downs, score touchdowns. I know that the last game that we called, it seemed like Fiore was in there doing everything. He was a superstar that game.
The Swiss Army knife.
The Swiss Army knife, that's right.
And a flag down. Looks like it will go against the Braves. Moving them all the way back.
Didn't see what the call was for that time.
It's now first and long.
Well, look at this. They can't even get lined up here on defense. We got two receivers at the bottom of the screen, and safety just now dropped over.
Ball will be to Hunter Cure, and he finds a seam past all the defenders all the way to the end zone, and again on a first and long, Zarian Hunter Cure heads to the end zone. Braves up 20-0.
Boy, he busted through the hole and hit the Jets, and he kept going downfield. There might have been a defender that would have been able to tackle him, but he ran into the ref, ended up falling on the ground, and that's a part of the game. The refs are on the field, and you have to avoid them.
And now the ball coming back, and a holding call against the Braves. So penalties now coming into effect both teams.
Taking a second look at it here.
Maybe see where the hold was.
Didn't see who they called it on.
The flag came in on that sideline, and there it is.
You can see it at the bottom of your screen. Didn't see who it was that made the hold there, but looked like he did get a tug on a jersey.
Eichholz drops back to pass, and with the defender wrapped around him, still tried to escape, but was brought down behind the line of scrimmage. So on their third attempt at first down, it ends poorly. Second down, longer now for the Braves offense, but we'll see how big of an obstacle this actually is.
Well, it's been mistake football on both sides, and whether or not you think the Deer Park Wildcats are as good as the Braves, you can't give them easy plays, and you can't shoot yourself in the foot. So second long.
Magruder in motion, fakes, and Eichholz will keep it himself. Head for the sideline. Wow, with just 2 steps, he basically gets halfway to the first down marker. He's close. Marked just about a yard short. So from 2nd and 16 to 3rd and 1.
Get the 6'5" quarterback, takes the long strides. Probably got those 15 yards in half the amount of steps it would have taken me or you.
Eichholz again outside to his brother, Dawson, and Dawson finds a seam and will take it to the house. Touchdown, Indian Hill.
Well, look, that was a great move there by Eichholz. But again, I'm coming back to the blocking every time there. I saw Michael Oakes give him a good block down the field, allowed him to cut back to the outside towards the sidelines after he had cut to the inside to avoid the first defender. Gave him an open road to the end zone, and he surely took it. He has a lot of speed. But this offensive line and these other receivers, when they don't have the football, they're having excellent blocking down the field.
And that was the same exact play that the Braves' first touchdown came on. Obviously, that one going for a couple more yards, but Luke Lundberg again in to attempt the point after. And he puts it through. Braves up 3 scores now.
And we trying to take a look at the replay here. See that touchdown one more time. You can see he fakes the handoff, quick screen there. And look at the blocking down here on number 53. Michael Oakes made it real easy for Eichholz to make it to the end zone.
So the Braves will kick off from the 40-yard line. Back for Deer Park. Markel Hurd. And Jordan Yelling will field it. Tries to make a move to the outside, but can't. Brought down shy of the 20.
Yeah, not a lot of room to work with that time. Closing speed on this special teams unit. They get there quick.
Tackle by drive and bring first down Deer Park.
Empty backfield for the Wildcats. And a great play by Dawson Eichholz to get in the middle of that one, knocking it down. Pass intended for Alex Conover.
I'll tell you, on that first down play there, Tyler Buchanan, quarterback, looked like he put everything he had into it. There's just not that much velocity coming off of that football. You'd have to get it there a lot quicker than that to get it away from Eichholz. Just doesn't seem like they have a very consistent passing game.
And unfortunately, that comes into play with your run game. If you don't have a pass game, your run game isn't going to be too great either. They'll attempt it here, and as I just mentioned, run game doesn't work.
Well, yeah, you said it. As soon as the defense can recognize that the offense is having a hard time passing the football, what do they think they're going to go to? And it's probably a run play. So, you know, when they can rely on those back-end guys in the secondary to just make plays in man-to-man, the rest of the defense just gets to cheat on the run.
Boys soccer won their first 2 tournament games this week and advanced to the 3rd round on Monday at Kings versus Marymount. Sectional final.
3rd and 11 now. And Buchanan will roll out, sets his feet, throws deep, and finds a receiver. No called, incomplete.
Again, the pass ball is incomplete.
Well, that was close. He got about as close as he could to getting those feet in bounds. I thought it was an overthrow. I didn't see the receiver behind him. Made an effort. That was the best pass I've seen so far tonight. But still incomplete. Brings up 4th down.
That was Jalen Rose, the intended receiver. punt will take a bounce and is fielded, and Fiore makes a move. He cuts up the middle. Now he's got a lot of green in front of him and some blockers. One man to beat, gets a huge block from Dorian Magruder, and he's in for the touchdown. Some scuffling going on behind the scenes, but Marco Fiore takes it all the way to the house.
Well, what I say we call him the Swiss Army knife. He took that punt off a bounce and got his hands on it immediately, made a cut up the field, and that was all speed.
And it looks like this one as well will be coming back, a holding call.
That might have been for the extracurricular activities after the play, perhaps.
We'll try to figure out what's going on here. There's a little pushing and shoving. Actually, before the play even ended, it was well behind the play itself. Fiore was already down close to the end zone, but back at the 35-yard line. I'm not sure how that works because it wasn't really after the play.
Right. Well, I think they would just enforce that. Or what they should do is enforce that on the extra point. It didn't affect the play. It wasn't in the play. It would be an unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't even know what side it's against. Whether it's Deer Park, crowd cheers.
Well, let's see what the official has to say. A holding call against the Braves, a personal foul against the Deer Park defense.
So I wonder if they're going to re-kick that one or might replay fourth down. It's the holding call, bring it back. They should cancel each other out. I think they might replay the fourth down. The unsportsmanlike conduct on Deer Park. What they should do is have a replay of fourth down, kick it again.
So the offsetting penalties, looks like that will be the result. Indian Hills offense starts to run on the field, but the officials will get with Coach Arcuri, explain the situation.
Well, you know, how about that kid Marco Fiore, man? I mean, he can return the kicks for touchdowns. He's a wide receiver. He's running back. He's the punter.
Don't forget about defensive back.
Yeah, he plays on defense.
Had an interception last week. His fourth of the season.
Well, it looks like they rule it a touchdown now.
Oh, they will rule it a touchdown.
So let's take another look at the play then. After all that, the holding call against the offense is what I don't understand about that play, is that it shouldn't have counted. You see him catch it off the bounce here. He's going to move upfield. That might be the holding call right there. He does a cut to the outside here. Look at this block down the field.
That's Dorian Magruder laying him out.
Easy sailing after that to the end zone for Fiore. But that is a little confusing. You know, you see a holding call on the offense. The play shouldn't stand, I wouldn't think. Well, they'll roll it 27-0 now. Come kick the extra point.
And now the officials will now it looks like the touchdown won't count. I believe the correct call is offsetting penalties.
It should be fourth down, and they should have to re-punt it. However, with the ref coming out and signaling a touchdown on the board, not good officiating for that play. You know, I don't want to say anything bad about the referees, but that was a very confusing play. It took them a lot to get through that one. I think they're just going to have first down. It's first down for the Indian Hill offense, it looks like.
Well, that's not the right call. Like, they're ruling that the punt was fielded and everything happened after possession had changed. So the holding would have come.
Right, but you wouldn't be able to spot the football on that play. Therefore, they should be offsetting penalties to redo fourth down because you can't.
Would be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. After possession has already changed, 10 yards, then the 15 yards from the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Wildcats. It should be.
I don't think that's how it works. I think
it should be offsetting penalties.
Either way, you know, and I'd love to say it's been sorted out now, but we can see the ball move again. Looks like they're set.
58 seconds left. Braves will hand to Fiore, give him another chance, and he's got the sideline. Pushes forward, a flag comes in late. Coach Arcuri not happy. That ball's coming back.
Well, look, there's been a lot of flags here early. Some of them have been justified. Some of them, I don't know if they have. We'll see what this call is. I think it was a holding call. They're bringing it back, and they are proving to be very unpopular here in the Indian Hill crowd. We're not even out of the first quarter.
If referees weren't already hated enough.
You have to imagine Indian Hill's getting kind of tired of it. They keep moving the football down the field, and it keeps getting called back.
Eichholz rolls out and finds his receiver, Fiore, on the sideline. And another first down for the Braves.
What a laser beam pass that was. He has a rocket for an arm. I mean, as soon as he lets go of that football, it seems like it's in his receiver's hands there, cutting towards the sidelines. It was a beautiful pass. Great first down.
Low snap, but Eichholz able to handle it, and he'll look long down the sideline and finds his receiver, and a touchdown is called. Jack Stewart able to haul in the play on the sideline. Tremendous catch.
Ali dove out for that one, made the play. Diving forward, what a catch, man. And like I just said the play before, rocket for an arm. I don't know if the defender ever made contact with him.
And that really should be down at the 1 yard line, but without replay, they'll count it.
Trying to make up for lost calls, I guess.
Seems like it.
They're instituting fairness among the calls, but if they would just get them right, you know. Wouldn't have to do it. That makes it 28-0, and after a lot of fighting to get those 7 points.
Still not out of the primary period. 16 ticks left on the clock. Well, penalties aside, this has been a pretty good game for Indian Hill. They as well as Deer Park have been hurt a little bit by penalties, but Indian Hill able to overcome it and have four scores up on the Wildcats.
Well, you can't say the penalties are affecting either team more than the other at this point. There have just been a lot of missed calls and a lot of questionable officiating up to this point. With that said, the score remains 28-0. Braves ahead of the Wildcats. a very interesting first quarter we've had here tonight for our last home game.
And that kick will go into the end zone for a touchback, so 80 yards will be the distance that the Wildcats will have to go for a touchdown.
Yeah, and I haven't seen much to this point from this Deer Park offense that would make me believe that they would be able to move the ball down the field 80 yards at this point. Definitely not through the air. They have had a really rough start trying to pass the football.
Ball run to the outside, but can't get back to the line of scrimmage, taken down in the backfield. Jalen Thornton on the tackle for the Braves.
Well, look, that play will probably take us to the end of the first quarter, but it seems like a lot of these runs that have been working or that were working on previous drives for the Wildcats are not working anymore. The Indian Hill defense has kind of figured out the plays that they're running out of the shotgun. They're using that pulling guard, trying to get a stretch play out to their running back. But it's not working anymore. They're going to have to find something else.
So we'll take a short break and come back here for the second quarter of action at Tomahawk Stadium. The Braves lead at 28-0.
Become a booster member and support all extracurricular activities at all the Indian Hill schools. Stop by the booster table on the ticket area and find the membership information on the boosters link at ihboosters.com.
Coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network is a presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department. The Video Department provides the community with educational and school-focused programming through the facilities of the ICRC.
To begin the second quarter of action, the Indian Hill Braves have a 4-score lead atop the Deer Park Wildcats.
For information on playoff possibilities, go to fantastic.com. Go to Division 4 R16.
So we will resume at 2nd and 14. Ball snapped, and Jordan Yelling on the reception for the Wildcats. And Yelling is probably considered the best player on the Deer Park squad. He's 3rd in the CHL in rushing yards, 4th in receiving yards. So offensively, Jordan Yelling, along with 3 interceptions on the defensive side.
Look, I don't want to sound negative, but that was the first pass completion by this Deer Park offense, and it went for 3 yards. So that was a nice catch by Yelling. Is not much doing offensively.
Another attempt here, and he's looking deep, throwing into double coverage, almost coming down with it is Yelling, but pass incomplete.
They haven't really had a play yet where Tyler Buchanan gets to set his feet and throw the football. Every time down the field, he's throwing it on the run, which maybe he feels more comfortable that way, but it is very difficult to be accurate when you're running full speed away from a defense.
Well, like you said before, it's not like he has much of a pocket to work with. That the offensive line isn't doing a very good job of keeping him protected. Nonetheless, the Wildcats will punt it away. A lofting snap, almost allowing Braves defenders to get in. Fiore will field it in the air this time and juke out the first defender, makes his way across the field, has a lot of room to go, one man to beat, and Fiore dives to the pylon. Touchdown, Braves! But pass incomplete.
Take the first play away from him. What is he going to do? He'll just do it again. And no flags on the field this time. That touchdown going to stand. What a great play.
Fiore will field
Fiore.
A 62-yard punt return to the house. Marco Fiore, he's going to get his.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do defensively. He makes the first guy miss immediately. You think he's going to cut it out to the right side. And coming back to the left all the way to the end zone for a nice score.
And that one will be put through the uprights. 35-0 now. Indian Hill in front. Ball fielded at the goal line by Yelling. Yelling will push forward, but met by a Tribe of Braves, brought down at the 15-yard line.
Some new guy operating the scoreboard.
So 35-0. Been pretty convincing so far for Indian Hill. Grant, what do you think the odds are we get a running clock here in the second half?
I would say it's pretty good. Pretty good. Indian Hill, as we mentioned, their defense is strong as ever.
Well, look, you want to like to think that for the Wildcats at least that this is an outlying performance, or maybe you'd hope that it's not, and it's really not. It's not at all. The Indian Hill Braves have been doing this all season long, and this is nothing new for this team. They are used to having a lead, and they're used to having a big lead.
And it's a dominating performance once again by the Braves, like you said, all season long. It's great to carry this kind of momentum into the playoffs. Ball handed off to Markel Hurd. Get all the way to the sideline for a gain of about 1.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, come playoff time, I think there's no other team the Braves would like to see in that Wyoming team again. A game where they had a couple of chances to win it, but that game was so closely contested. Two evenly matched teams. I mean, down to the T, the quarterback's the same size and build, same type of weapons on offense and defense.
That's Andrew Marty you're talking about, the Wyoming quarterback. And, last year in the playoffs, those two teams met. Indian Hill was able to win that game. But, yeah, I would expect that they want their revenge, hoping to get a meeting with the Cowboys. Buchanan snaps. Fires across the first down marker. And that is Jordan Yelling on the reception. Brought down on the play. Ben Worthland.
Well, look, that was a good first down there. by the Wildcats. That's just how the offense has got to be at this point. You have to immediately snap the football, and the quarterback has to understand that he's going to have to throw it. He maybe has 2 seconds to get rid of that football. Buchanan, that is. So his receivers didn't look like he was exactly ready for that pass, but I'm telling you, if you're one of the receivers on this team, you have to be looking 1 second after the ball is snapped because he does not have a lot of time to get rid of that football.
4 CHL scores, 7-7 in the first. Madura and Taylor. Timeout on the field. Indian Hill Breakswear is available at the break shop location. Got those
So Wyoming, we're looking at a shot of the possible first-round opponents for Indian Hill. Kettering, Alter, Clarksville, Clinton, Massey, they're a pretty good team. Waverly, Germantown, Valley View, and, of course, Wyoming.
That's a team I want to see him play. Not familiar with the rosters on those other teams, but I can tell you everybody here at Indian Hill very familiar with that Cincinnati, Wyoming team. I would hope we'd get the call for that game as both of those teams. Such a good matchup.
That first one, like you said, going into 2 overtimes, one just wasn't enough.
No, they couldn't get enough of it. As if Indian Hill didn't have it on their toes, they'd block a field goal to put it into a second overtime in that game.
And that was after a long rain delay as well, too.
Yeah, we had spent about 40 minutes on a rain delay, so we were here, I would say it was close to 1 o'clock in the morning by the time we got out of that game.
Late one for sure.
Not to take away any of the action from this game. Short run up the middle there on first down. And if they can get a passing game going here a little bit, you try and get some points on the board.
And they will attempt it now, but that one batted down. It's Michael Oakes.
This is about as bad as it gets for Deer Park. I can't tell if they're trying to throw a screen pass or if they're trying to throw the football down the field, is how quick things break down on the offensive line. Looked like that one might have been a screen, but I could be mistaken because I didn't see anybody in the backfield that would be willing to catch that football or eligible.
Deer Park, one backfield, and Buchanan will look deep and yelling, almost able to haul it in just off the fingertips. That'll force another 4th down.
You can see the frustration from yelling after not coming down with that one. Not a lot of opportunities here early for him to make plays, and that one, a difficult catch it would have been, but it's one he possibly could have made, and he showed some frustration.
Marco Fiore looking for another chance. Maybe add another one. Another big return. He'll stand at his own 40-yard line. A high snap, but the punt gets off, and that is a short one. It'll take a bounce and won't be fielded. It'll be down at the 50-yard line. So half the distance of the field, Reed I. Colts and Company will have to go.
Well, honestly, that's probably a good thing for Deer Park, is they didn't let the returner there get the football, Marco Fiore. So, he's shown the ability twice already to take that football back to the house. They put a lot of hang time on that punt.
Not a great punt, but one that might be more effective than putting it in the hands of Fiore.
And I think they might have asked him to put a lot of hang time on it. You saw how high that punt got.
Ball handed off to Hunter Cure, and he'll give a stiff arm and break away from Deer Park tacklers. They just can't seem to find a way to get him to the ground. Finally do, but not before Cure runs past the 35-yard line and past the first down marker.
Well, he's breaking a lot of tackles, and it seems like this Wildcats defense is kind of just hitting somebody and expecting the rest of the guys to rally and help make the tackle, but you got to be willing to bring him down on your own, or else something like that's going to happen again. He'll gain an extra 10 yards after contact.
Braves in a pistol formation. That's Fiore now behind center, and he will be the one to hand off to Hunter Cure. Barely get caught just by the shoelaces.
Well, I'll tell you, we called one game a few weeks ago where it seemed like every single play of that game he was getting tackled by the shoestrings and having guys having to rally to him. I think it might have happened 7 or 8 times in one game. Like you said, I mean, it seems like more often than not the only way teams can stop him is to just grab onto his feet and pray.
Fiore again hands to Zarian Hunter Cure. Tackled at the 20-yard line, so now the Braves within striking distance in the red zone. Another first down.
The Braves put up a lot of points, but I don't think it's been very often tonight that they've actually been in the red zone. Maybe once or twice out of the 5 scores that they've had. They're just such a dynamic team and so explosive that these big plays oftentimes happen outside the 20-yard line.
Fiore in motion, the fake to him, and Cure will get it and push ahead for another 10-yard gain. First down, now first and goal for the Braves.
Yeah, and this is as hard as I've seen Hunter Cure run in the past few weeks. It seemed like he had his struggles the last 2 times we called these games, but before that he was running at a high caliber level, and it seems like he's back to that level now.
Pistol formation, Deer Park bringing the blitz, and they'll dump it over the line of scrimmage to Worthland, and he gets in, fights his way into the end zone for a touchdown. 41-0 now Indian Hill.
Really tough as a defender when you got a guy giving you the stiff arm. It seems kind of unfair for the defense too. He just was unable to make the tackle with the arm to his face. So another score for the Braves. I think we might end up seeing some of the second string guys here in the second half.
Still 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first half, as Lundberg gets set for the point after. Puts it through no problem. 42-0 Braves over the Wildcats. Brandon, what do you think the Deer Park Wildcats have to do to maybe light a spark under their offense?
Well, you know, there's not a whole lot. I mean, I hate to sound pessimistic about it, but it's, you know, it's clearly they're probably not going to win this game. But what you can do to maybe spark the offense is it's got to start with the offensive line. And until they can correct that issue and make adjustments, I don't think there's much that they can do. So maybe, you know, whether that means keeping the running back in to add to protection or bringing in a tight end or a 2 tight end set to add to the protection, they have to do something to get their quarterback a little bit of time in the pocket. And then if you can get some small passes or some short passes, move the ball down the field, that'll open up the run game again.
Unfortunately for them, there's pretty much one guy that they can look to produce, and that's Jordan Yelling, and he can't do it all in every play.
Yeah, and he had his opportunity on that last drive. Very difficult catch it would have been for him to make, but still a possibility. And he's got to have more plays. They got to be able to get him the football, but until they can get some protection on their offensive line, it's going to be hard to get anybody the football.
Lundberg will send it away. A line drive kick into the end zone for a touchback. So again, the distance to go is 80 yards for Tyler Buchanan, Jordan Yelling, and the rest of the Deer Park offense.
We'll see what they do on this drive. I wouldn't expect them to have made these adjustments yet. That might be a halftime talk that they give their team, or they might not address it at all. I don't know where it stands on their concerns. Maybe this has been happening all season long for them, like you said earlier, they don't have a really big team. The biggest guy on the team, 210 pounds, and that's hard for guys that are 170 to be blocking this defensive line for Indian Hill. So they got to do a lot of double teams, and the only way that they can do that is keeping in 2 tight end sets or keeping an extra running back in to help block, and sometimes that's not even enough.
And that defensive line is stacked. You got Dan Becker, 6'4", 255, as the ball comes loose, recovered by Deer Park, but you also have Michael Oakes, 6'3", 220. Jalen Thornton, 6'2", 235. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's got to be real tough for somebody who's 170 pounds to block guys that big.
Well, yeah, I mean, real hard is kind of it's almost impossible. And I know that a lot of pass blocking has to do with footwork and the use of your hands, but, you know, weight plays a factor. And if you don't have the size to keep a guy back and away from your quarterback, you don't stand a chance.
Empty backfield for the Wildcats on 2nd and 15. Looking over the middle, and Fiore, there he is again, picks it off right out of the air. His 2nd consecutive game with an interception.
Well, that was a great interception, but I want to look back at the quarterback on this play. Buchanan actually had time on that play. He actually had time, and he did not have to force that pass. I think he was surprised. You could see his feet jittering on that play as he did not believe he would have time because he hasn't had the time all game long. But on that play, he actually could have waited a little bit longer to make the throw, tried to force it, and Fiore will make you pay.
You can see Fiore covering the slot receiver and just cuts over the route. That pass was intended for number 10, Markel Hurd. So the Braves offense now getting off to their drive. Hunter Cure wrapped up in the backfield for a loss of a couple yards.
And that was number 57, Michael Barker, on defense, and he knew the snap count on that play. He came running in, and right off the snap was already in the backfield. Great play defensively.
Braves line up, have Jack Stewart-Wald on the far left side, flag thrown. False start. And that'll bring him back 5 yards. So now it'll be a 2nd and even longer.
That's about 2nd down and 19 yards. And for most teams, I would say that's an issue. But for this team, they can get 19, 20 yards on one play.
Dawson Eichholtz on the far side of the screen with Worthland in the slot. And Eichholtz will look to that side and find his brother. 1st down. And now into the red zone. So like you said, with one play, they make up all of it. No chipping away for this team.
Yeah, and they're going with the screenplay a lot because they know that they get great blocking down the field from their wide receivers. And Benjamin Worthland on that play, as you pointed out, in the slot position, drove his defender all the way to the ground with a block. And when you have wide receivers driving guys to the ground, that's a good sign.
Good move by Hunter Cure. Running, busting the play outside, back inside for a gain of 9. Well, a gain of 10. They'll give him the 1st down. So now it's a 1st and goal for the Braves. Looking to Joel Berger in the slot on the screen. Falls forward.
That screenplay was different than the other ones that they had been running. The other plays, they have the receiver immediately take a step back and kind of cut and center himself to the quarterback. That was more of a bubble screen play where he gets his feet moving and tries to get upfield as quick as possible. And interestingly enough, that one didn't work as well.
This time they will hand to Hunter Cure, who shakes off a defender and once again wrapped up and dragged down by the shoelaces. almost able. It's really interesting to watch him move because it looks like he's just narrowly doesn't escape.
Yeah, very close that time. Never surprised when he's able to break 2 or more tackles on a play. And it's not even necessarily wimpy tacklers. It's just that he is so elusive that he can make almost anybody miss on the football field.
Now 3rd and 6. Big play of the drive for the Braves, and Eichholz looks to keep it himself. And he's into the end zone. Another touchdown, rushing this time, Reed Eichholz. From 6 yards out, the Braves able to extend their lead, now 48-0.
Well, pretty demoralizing first half for Deer Park, and I can imagine he's probably just ready for halftime. Take another look at this one here. Calling his own number, going to the outside, trying to get the corner, but actually spins inside, which was a smart play, ensuring himself to get into the end zone.
Lundberg again converts the point after. 49-0, that was the score of last week's game. But we still have 2 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for this Deer Park team for the rest of the time. The only thing they look forward to maybe is, the running clock and then maybe the warm bus ride home.
Guess you gotta look at the bright side of things.
That's one way, yeah. I mean, it's cold out there tonight. Make no mistake about it. It is a little chilly. Probably the coldest game we've had all season long out here.
I think so. It's just now really getting into autumn weather. We've been pretty blessed to have some good weather, warm weather through the past month. Markel Hurd and Jordan Yelling back for the Wildcats to receive the kick. Lundberg sends it off. Fielded by Hurd inside the 5, will work his way to the middle, cuts up field and brought down at the 25-yard line. So that's a pretty good return there. The first real decent return for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a nice return. The first one that he's actually really had a chance to return. There was some decent blocking down the field, but most of the kicks have been line drives that immediately go into the end zone. So a good sign there. He gets it out close to the 25-yard line and might be the best field position the offense has had all night.
Now it's up to Tyler Buchanan to get his team downfield. 75 yards in just under 2.5 minutes. Indian Hill will be receiving the ball to start the second half. One in the backfield, and they will hand the ball off, and Hurd gets tripped up by the defenders and maybe even his own offensive line. It looked like he had a hole and just got his foot caught on somebody's leg busting through the line.
Yeah, he snuck through a small hole on that run, and it looked like he had a little bit of open space. Maybe could have broke it for a first down, but it's got tripped up.
Clock remains to run. Ball handed off again. Up the middle goes Hurd, and he stood up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Third down.
He said it. He was stood up. He tried to run that ball inside the tackles, inside the guards, and he had a brick wall.
Clock now under a minute Wildcats not really pressing too hard to try to get points on the board, it seems like.
Well, no, and I don't really blame them. You have a half this bad, you kind of just want to take it to halftime.
That was a little bit of a lucky play, a reception for an offensive lineman. You don't see that every day. That's Mikhail Barker. That ball was tipped by the blitz from Indian Hill and batted up in the air and right into the lap of Barker.
It's even more surprising because he doesn't even look like an offensive lineman. It looks more like a running back catching that ball. Thought it was an extra receiver on that play.
But he converts the first down. Deer Park not concerned with the running clock. Now under 20 seconds. Maybe we'll get one or two more plays.
Yeah, I think they might take one shot to the end zone here, just see what they can get.
Now look downfield and right to Marco Fiore, his second interception. Looking to take it back upfield and brought down.
Well, that's the risk you run when, you have the one play. You're going to try and throw something down the field, maybe get something before the end of the half, and, just an overthrow. Never really stood a chance. The defender's kind of waiting on it. Fiore gets the second pick of the game, and that was an easy one.
Tell you what, I'm sure next year Deer Park's going to come into this game with a target on Marco Fiore because he's just been killing them today. On defense, on offense, on special teams, you can't stop him.
So we might actually see Indian Hill take a shot at the end zone here with the last play.
And Colts will fire deep. He has a man wide open. Brother Dawson. And like you said, Indian Hill converts on their attempt to the end zone, putting up one more score before the half. And guess what? They're getting the ball back right after.
That is such a breakdown in coverage on that play. When you have 3.5 seconds left and there are 4 wide receivers set, you should be in a 3-man deep cover play, which means you have 3 safeties back there and you only have 3 guys rushing. The rest of them should all be in coverage and they should all be back by the goal line. You have 3 seconds to stop somebody from scoring, and they have Dawson Eicholtz in one-on-one coverage at the top of the screen. That's never going to work.
Not the strongest of play callers on that Deer Park coaching staff, it seems. Lundberg will attempt the point after, and again will convert. So the Braves head into the locker room up 56-0 over Deer Park. So final thoughts of the first half.
Well, it's been exactly what I expected it to be, and maybe not this high of a score, but you expected Indian Hill to come out here and be nothing but business, and that's what it's been. They've been making big plays, and your favorite guy, Marco Fiore's been making a lot of those big plays. So I expect the second half to be a little bit faster, but we'll see a lot of the same thing, I think.
Hopefully it will go. I'm sure at this point they'll initiate that running clock rule, but we'll be here in the second half of action. Halftime here at Tomahawk Stadium. The Braves lead it 56-0.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Mark Lockwood.
And I'm Olivia Campbell. Hey, Mark, did you go to the musical last night?
No, I didn't. I forgot to. But did you?
No, but there's 2 shows on Saturday. A matinee at 2 and an evening show at 7:30.
Well, I'm going to check it out Saturday night. So to all of you out there watching, please plan to come to one of the remaining Saturday performances so you don't miss out on this great show.
Good advice, Mark. And be sure to come out to football senior night. Well, we have lots to cover, so let's get started.
The Spirit panel looked great on Friday night. The overall first place winner went to Visual Arts. Congratulations to all the winners and all who participated.
Those Spirit panels were fantastic. I can't wait to see who wins next year. Hey, seniors, it's almost time for senior trip. Make sure you've chosen your roommates and museum. Speak with Mrs. Frickman and Mr. Witt with any questions.
The boys cross country team won the CHL championship. Congratulations to our boys cross country CHL coach of the year, Susan Savage. What a team. Girls cross country team placed third in CHL championships with Sheard and Prue finishing 9th and 10th.
Be sure to come out to the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee this Saturday. The show is 90 minutes with no intermission and involves audience participation. You don't want to miss this one. Check out this clip for a special preview.
We have a winner!
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! At the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, my parents keep on telling me.
I think you should all come to the annual Putnam County Spelling Bee because my two dads will be there.
Come to the spelling bee and you might be visited by Jesus.
Come see the magic font!
You should come to the thing because it's spell words.
Chip Tolentino, Miss Brady, and our youngest companion. Plasma TV in a fancy hotel where they treat you well, all because you love to spell. You are here.
Congratulations to the 62 new inductees into the Indian Hill High School National Honor Society. All names will be shown on the end credits of today's program. These inductees will be recognized Monday, October 24th at 7 o'clock and enjoy a special luncheon on Wednesday the 26th at 10:30 a.m. This is a well-deserved honor to these hard-working students.
Hey Indian Hill, did you know that it's National Bus Safety Week this week? Please thank your friendly bus driver for serving our students and keeping us safe on the commute.
Let's check in with one of our favorite teachers, Mr. Guy.
Everyone's favorite AP US History teacher, Mr. Guy. How are you doing, Mr. Guy?
Great. Unfortunately, I am the only AP US History teacher, but it's kind of one and the same. Well, I first started out in geology, also history, but my love for history is probably what really drove me to getting into teaching. And once I got into teaching, I really enjoyed working with kids.
So, Mr. Guy, what's your favorite part about Indian Hill?
That it's cool to be a smart kid. More people probably know it than they had. I'm a pretty avid hunter, so I spend 10 hours in the freezing cold, and I wonder, am I really sane or not?
Yeah. Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Guy, we all see you with them. So, what's your favorite diet beverage?
Well, it'd have to be Diet Mountain Dew. That is certainly my go-to drink.
Finally, what's your favorite show to watch on TV right now?
I'm just finishing up Hell on Wheels. It's a drama about building the Transcontinental Railroad, but it's great.
That sounds like a typical history teacher response. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Guy.
Thank you, and thanks for the interview.
All right.
Thanks, Mr. Guy, for your very fun yet informative classes.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, and email us with any school updates.
And don't forget to come out to the Spelling Bee performance on Saturday.
Yeah, and make sure to bring your friends. And as always,
stay classy, Indian Hill.
So, Trevor with the nice hair, what'd you think of Tony Stewart's wicked curveball last night? Pretty good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. On the mound, he's on fire. He's even better on the racetrack. Right?
Oh. Did you guys see Paul Gasol dealing on the mound the other night?
I personally did.
You did. You did. What did you think of this curveball?
I wasn't watching that part of it.
Not. Okay, she wasn't watching those pitches. She turned the TV off.
So, Scotty, what do you think Jeremy Gibson's game-winning shot against the Warriors last night?
Fantastic.
So, Teensy, Bubba Watson's game-winning goal against Barcelona last night, give me your thoughts.
Great.
Elaborate. Did you watch it?
No.
being escorted on the field by his parents, Amit and Anita returning. Margaret plays the snare drum and has been a member of the Braves marching band for 4 years. After high school, Margaret plans to attend the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music and major in music performance. Congratulations, Carmen. Charlie Rose. Charlie is being escorted on the field by his aunt and uncle, John and Eliza Bennett. Charlie plays the tenor drums and has been a member of the Braves marching band for 5 years. After high school, Charlie plans to attend Northwestern University and major in music composition and journalism. Congratulations, Charlie. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for our 2016 Braves Marching Band Senior Class. Ladies and gentlemen, the concession stands, as always, are open. Now for your halftime entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field your 2016 Braves Marching Band under the direction of drum major and senior Lily Hinckley. The Braves Marching Band will be performing their program, X's and Overtures, featuring the following musical selections: Nessun Dorma by Giacomo Puccini, Overture from Candide by Leonard Bernstein, The Barber of Seville by Cecchino Rossini, and The Marriage of Figaro and the Magic Flute by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. This weekend, the Braves Marching Band returns to competition at Miami's Brew. Drum major, is your band ready? Braves Marching Band, you may take the field in exhibition.
Braves marching band under the direction of drum major Lily. And as always, you can catch the Braves marching band as well as the entire game live and on demand on YouTube at IHTN 1. That's IHTN numeral 1.
Make coach so.
Football scores around the CHL this evening in the third quarter. Madeira 10, Taylor 7. Third quarter.
Welcome back to Tomahawk Stadium. It's senior night here, and the Braves doing a great job of defending their home turf. They are up 56-0. Last game was a 59-0 win over Madeira, offensively led by 2 touchdown passes from Reed Eichholtz. Zarian Hunter-Cure, 3 rushing touchdowns. Ben Worthland hauled in 9 receptions for 84 yards, and Luke Lundberg was 7 for 7 on his extra point attempts. He is perfect tonight as well. There was also a passing touchdown from Marco Fiore, a trick play that went 84 yards to the house.
Well, you look at those stats, and obviously you know they put up a lot of points in that game. You don't even have to see the box score to know that one. Looking at the defensive side, too, you see Dan Becker with 13 tackles. You talked about that earlier. He was injured on a play. And Marco Fiore, an interception there. He has 2 interceptions tonight, and he has a kick return touchdown. And I believe he has another. Is it just the 1 touchdown? He might have 2. I should know that.
I think he did have a receiving touchdown,
I think
actually.
so, too.
But defensively, you know, this Braves defense. Offensively in the CHL, you see Reed Eichholtz racking up the passing yards, over 1,400 yards, and Zarian Hunter-Cure looking to get 1,000 yards rushing on the season.
Yeah, he'll be close after tonight, as we've seen him break multiple tackles and get to the second level of the defense, and he's been very impressive all year, and we knew Eichholtz was going to be impressive coming into the season, him having led the conference, I believe, last year. But Hunter-Cure has been exceptional.
Coming into this game, he was 2nd in the CHL in rushing, and Reed Eichholtz was 3rd in passing. Defensively, those guys contributing to the 4 shutouts. Dan Becker with 85 tackles on the season. Demetrius Baylor finding his way into the backfield. And Marco Fiore now with 6 interceptions, but had 4 coming into today.
Yeah, and he's just a good football player, man. I mean, he can do any kind of play, and you see he's number 2 in the CHL for interceptions, probably number 1 after tonight. I don't know what the leader has, but, you know, we could see Fiore with another interception before the night's over, the way that he's been ball hawking out there on the field tonight. And Dan Becker, 85 tackles in 8 games. That's very impressive.
Yeah, both real smart players. Always know where to be, when to be there. Just to answer your question, Alex Wakendorf of Reading has 8 interceptions on the season, and he is the CHL leader. So 2 more for...
Be kind of tough. Be tough to get there tonight.
Would it?
It would. I think it would be tough. You know, you already got 2 interceptions. The ball doesn't seem to come that way a lot. They don't, not a real big passing team. Plus, we don't know how much they'll be used here in the second half. Definitely a possibility, and there's still another game to go after this one, so he could find himself in first place in the CHL in interceptions.
Braves, of course, led by head coach Tony Arcuri, who spent a long time very well known here at Indian Hill. had a brief stint as the head coach of Madeira and found his way back to the Braves.
Oh, and he does an excellent job coaching this team. For the most part, they are well disciplined, and they have an excellent playbook where they get pretty creative at times on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Especially on offense, we see a lot of end arounds, we see a lot of trick plays, even flea flickers. You saw last week, wide receiver had a touchdown pass. Tonight we've seen fake end arounds and QB keepers, and it's easy to be creative as a head coach when you have players and a quarterback like Eichholz who can do it all as well.
So Eichholz and the Braves will have the first chance here in the second half. As this is the first time that we've gotten a chance to see Deer Park
Yeah, they're kicking off for the first time tonight. That's right. We'll see just how dangerous this kick returning squad is.
a line drive into the third row of the Braves return team, fighting all the way to midfield. And that's not something you usually see out of someone who's not the initial returner.
Well, I'll tell you what, Deer Park's had a rough night all around, and that kick return right there doesn't really surprise me as much as it would if it were maybe another team or maybe this team on another night, but tonight has not gone their way.
Dual twins for the Braves. Ball handed off to Zarian Hunter-Cure. Back to the line of scrimmage, but not much more.
Yeah, they try to stack those receivers on the outside there, maybe make the defense think it was going to be a screen pass. Also, 4 wide receiver set, try to pull away as many defenders from the box as they can, but didn't really work that time.
Braves already putting in their second string quarterback, Cole Dean. And he will look out to the outside. Finds Jack Stewart, who stumbles ahead for the first down.
Yeah, we've seen Dean play earlier in the season in second halves, and I'll tell you, the only drop-off between him and Eichholz is probably the height, because he's just as good of a passer. And they're definitely a competent offense still with him at the helm. Just, I think he stands at, 5'10", 5'11", big difference in height. That's about it.
He's listed at 5'9".
That's a nice carry there. Getting close to a first down.
Magruder, a senior, playing his final home game here at Indian Hill. Dean in the shotgun. He will hand to Hunter-Cure. Busts out to the sideline. Has enough for the first down. Cuts the distance to the goal line to just 22 yards.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's able to break that 1,000-yard mark here tonight. You talked about it earlier. He's at 9:28 coming into the game. I think he's already really close.
I think if that one play, the touchdown in the first half, didn't get called back, probably would have already broken it if he hasn't already. That's Worthland with the ball, cutting up inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, Indian Hill.
Yeah, and they're giving Dean some easy passes here to start his game out, some screen passes, quick looks, get him in a rhythm, make him feel comfortable here on offense. Not that he needs it, but they want him to get into a rhythm and to feel confident as a quarterback. You never know in football what can happen. He may be called upon later on, maybe in the playoffs.
And Hunter-Cure will get the ball and find his way into the end zone. Another touchdown, Indian Hill.
Yeah, some fancy footwork on that run. Got the little stutter step going and cut it back into the inside. The elusivity of Hunter Cure, second to none.
So Luke Lundberg again in for the point after. And the clock does continue to tick, so the entire second half will be a running clock.
Yeah, we might not see triple digits tonight from the Braves. We've been wanting it all year, you know. I mean,
I think if you don't have a running clock, I think it happens.
Right. We could have seen a couple games this season like that. We've been waiting for it. Might have to keep waiting.
And it's nice to see that dominance return to Indian Hill. It was a long time back through the early 2000s. They went 9 years without losing a single CHL game, and it wasn't until 2009 that they did. It was a last-second back-and-forth game, and it ended up being a last-second two-point conversion, Statue of Liberty play, a one-point victory for Wyoming over Indian Hill in the last regular season game of the season.
They seem to have a rivalry that goes back a long time, and it's,
and
it's alive and well right now. And we saw it earlier in the season, and it's great to have a history as a school for Indian Hill to have that winning success.
And if it's not Wyoming, it's Madeira. Between those two, you generally see some good competition atop the standings of the CHL.
Yeah, it was definitely a game for the books the last time they played Wyoming here earlier this season. That would be one that I'll remember for a long time. I'm sure the fans will too. It seems like they've already gotten used to the thrillers between Indian Hill and Wyoming.
Ball fielded at the 5-yard line. Flag coming in about the 25-yard line as Hurd is brought down.
Well, 9 times out of 10 on a kickoff, whenever you see a flag come in like that, back behind the play, it's either a holding call or
chop block called against the Wildcats.
Well, I was going to say illegal block in the back or a holding call, but that time it was a chop block, which still bring him back, but it's typically against the return team on a kickoff.
So after a pretty solid return that will be negated by the penalty, Deer Park will be forced to start within their 15-yard line, about the 13. Long way for Tyler Buchanan.
Well, look, you've obviously thrown the idea of winning this game out of the window, but that doesn't mean you can't come out on this possession and try and get some success and get some first downs together at least.
Well, they're not going to find it there. The handoff snuffed out by the Braves defensive line and stood him up behind the line of scrimmage. The officials having a little bit of a word with Jalen Thornton, it looks like. Maybe telling him don't rub it in their face too much.
Well, this is the time where you see what kind of team you have for Deer Park. When you're losing this badly, do you just cave and give in and let the game end, or are you going to fight back and at least try and score or put something on the board? And it doesn't look right now like they're fighting too hard.
Blitz coming again. Thornton looks to get to him, and Buchanan will be brought down trying to. That'll be called a safety. The ball actually did come loose. Can you call forward progress in the end zone?
Well, it would be a safety either way. Yeah, if he was stood up like that, they'd blow the whistle, call the play dead. It'd be a safety.
Even in the end zone, they wouldn't let him try to fight his way out before he's brought down?
I don't think so. I think in that situation it was the right call to end that play and call it a safety. He was going nowhere. They had him stood up.
Well, the reason I say that is the ball came loose, and it could have been an opportunity for the Braves defense to jump on it for a touchdown. It was actually caught by the referee.
Yeah,
I didn't know they would call for it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not
in
just
the end zone.
Yeah, they wouldn't let I guess, him get gang tackled in that situation. If there's no progress to be made on a play like that, just call it dead and give him the safety. I have no problem with that call, but you know, as a quarterback, when you're dancing around in the end zone, you got to be aware that you probably need to get the football out of your hands. And he tried to come back the other way and maybe make something out of nothing, and that's what happens.
So the free kick now from the 20-yard line.
You see the difference in the third quarter now. We were already under 3 minutes left in this third quarter, about to be into the fourth. 65-0.
And that probably has to do with the amount of time between plays that don't come into effect. You know, with the clock stopped, and Deer Park, especially after incomplete passes, would take a long time to snap the next play, but now clock will just tick on right through it. I'm not sure why they have the ball teed up. A free kick is supposed to be a punt.
That's exactly right. He should have to kick it off by holding it with his hands. He kicked that one out of bounds, and the problem with that is when they kick the ball off out of bounds, it typically comes out to the 35-yard line. That one went out at the 35-yard line. But you're exactly right. After a safety, it's supposed to be a free kick, I believe, from either the 20 or the 25-yard line. And that didn't happen on that play.
One of these days we'll figure out the high school football rules.
I got very embarrassed in that overtime game with Wyoming. I was calling things happening that made no sense at all. So confused as to what those rules were, but I'm getting the hang of it, honestly.
One in the backfield, and he will find his way through the defense and tumble forward for a first down.
It's Tennyson Holmes on that run. We're seeing all kinds of guys get the ball here in the second half, and gives the Indian Hill coaching staff a bit of a look at what kind of players they have. You get to look at them in practice sometimes, the second, third string guys, but you know, it's a different situation when you're in a real game and you get to see how they do against other defenses apart from your own.
Some fresh faces in for Indian Hill. You have Garrick Lindbergh, who we've yet to see do anything, but he's in the game.
Cole Dean kept that one himself, and a small quarterback running the ball up the middle. You get a little nervous there, but it looks like he's not the one that's down. It's number 57 for Deer Park. It's Michael Barker. A little shaken up on that one.
And just like that, we've reached the end of the third quarter. We will head now to the final regular season quarter here at Tomahawk Stadium, with the Braves holding a commanding lead, 65-0 over the Wildcats.
Brave Sports on the Indian Hill Television Network wouldn't be possible without the generous support of the Indian Hill Boosters, the PTO, and the ICRC. Their grants have provided us with the equipment to bring Indian Hill sports off the field or gymnasium and into the community, and we appreciate all they've done to develop our television programming.
We're back to start the fourth quarter of play and end around for another Braves first down.
And that might be the fifth different player to carry the football here in this game. They have so many options on the offensive side of the ball to make big plays. That was just another example.
This season already, there's been a whole host of Ball carriers for the Braves. Fifteen different players have rushed for the Braves this season. That'll be Tennyson Holmes there.
Another nicely timed play on defense, jumping the snap. He caught the linebacker. He timed it perfectly, run down and cross that line of scrimmage right after the ball was snapped. Unable to get there that time, but definitely disrupted the offensive line.
Dean making some changes at the line of scrimmage. He will hand to Holmes. Escapes the tackler. Slices through some more, but eventually brought down right back at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Yeah, they were able to catch Deer Park over pursuing on a lot of plays here tonight. Not on that one. Immediately started out with a poor effort there in the backfield. Almost lost 3 or 4 yards, able to get back to the line of scrimmage, though.
Holmes comes off the field now. Ball thrown way behind the receiver there.
Well, nothing but miscommunication on that play. It looked like the wide receiver wanting to do a double move and go deep. Cole Dean wasn't expecting that. Tried to throw an out route.
Ben Semrad, the senior, getting a chance to get in here at the end of this one as the Braves go for it on a 4th and 10. Kind of too far for a field goal and too close to really punt. Dean will be blitzed immediately and can't quite get the ball off in time. That'll be a turnover on downs.
Well, you know, I like that play call defensively, aggressive play call to kind of have faith in your secondary and let them play one-on-one in coverage when you have a lot of yardage to gain like that on 4th down. Immediate pressure for Cole Dean, and he got rid of it.
Young quarterback, not quite used to feeling the pressure. Eichholz, of course, has seen enough of that, is able to kind of step up in the pocket and elude the defenders, but it also helps when you're about 1.5 feet taller than everybody.
Yeah, true that is, and that was probably the best defensive play call I've seen so far tonight. I don't think they haven't done a lot of blitzing on defense. They haven't really made any adjustments.
Braves line up with ball caught behind the line of scrimmage. It's number 57, Mikhail Barker. Gain of just 1. Ball snapped and handed off to Markel Hurd. Brought down in the backfield by the Braves defense.
Oh, they're just calling these run plays and not getting much for them. Clock just keeps going, and
you can see the emotion on the Deer Park side of the field. Heads hanging down, kind of dragging their feet. Not really too interested in doing too much with this game.
No, they don't see much left to play for, and the rest of this game is honestly just a technicality.
The Braves defense looking to uphold their shutout streak. This would be the 4th consecutive game and the 5th shutout of the season, as 2 Braves defenders find Buchanan in the backfield.
Yeah, big time
Demetrius
sack on that
Baylor
play.
getting back there.
Be 5.5 sacks for him now on the season. Then we
Tumble
just pulled
forward
up
for a
graphic of him earlier with the 5 sacks.
Charlie Lindbergh, the other guy, in on that. Ball fielded off the bounce. Makes a little move, cuts, has some room to go now, cuts back across the field, and will find his way into the end zone. Duke Weiler.
Well, look, there was good blocking on that play, but at some point, it comes down to special teams play for this defense. And Deer Park has not had good special teams all night. That's the second punt return touchdown in this game. Would be the third had one not been called back for a holding call, and we all know what happened on that play. It was really confusing.
That's the freshman Trey Lopez. That very well might be his first varsity touchdown.
You saw him take it off the bounce here. Again, good blocking upfield by Magruder.
Nice
Comes all the way
there,
down
too.
the right side, back inside, and then outruns the rest of the defenders. Take it home for 6.
Lundberg again. Rather, that was William Schneider, the freshman, putting it through. So now we're really getting a look of what's to come for Indian Hill.
Yeah, a lot of these jerseys on these kids that are used to being clean might get a little dirty here by the end of the night.
Mom's going to have to do some laundry.
That's right.
Haven't had to do it all season.
Right, exactly. But it's good for the coaches. You know, like we said earlier, you get to see what kind of team you're going to be working with. A lot of these kids are the younger generation of players, maybe the sophomores and things like that. Guys you'll get a better look at next season. They might get starting jobs when some of these seniors move on to college and things like that. So you get a good look at what kind of team you have, and so far they seem to be pretty impressed.
The running clock now ticking closer to 3 minutes. Sophomore Logan Person in to kick the ball off. And a good kick there. Bounces around the 15. It will be fielded on a one hop. And that's Hurd up the sideline of the 40 and will be pushed out of bounds at the 43.
Well, that's the best field position the Wildcats have had all night. And you look on the other side of that, Indian Hill Braves, it seems like they've been starting at midfield most of the night. If not, the offense hasn't even had to come out on the field because of the punt return touchdowns. The special teams has been fantastic for Indian Hill tonight.
So this is full second string, third string guys in on defense. Brandon, if you were one of those first string defensive guys who have shut out their opponents the last 3 games and are 2 minutes away from making that a 4th consecutive game, if this young defense lets up a touchdown, how mad are you?
Me personally, probably not that mad. Most of the teammates probably would be mad, but you know, honestly, it's not about the stats as much as it is about the win. So getting the win, obviously 72-0, you'd like to keep the shutout. The defense is on a good streak of that, but there'll probably be a few guys that would have some words for them if they gave up a score.
Well, for these young guys, I mean, that's what you're playing for right here, to conserve the shutout. But keep in mind, you're going up against Deer Park's first string still.
Seems to be more of a, or less of a size advantage now for Indian Hill. It's more evenly matched.
except for their receivers are a lot taller. Here's Jordan Yelling getting up across the 50 into the Braves territory. Now a minute left, and that's one thing that the Braves defense, these young guys have got to be appreciative of, is the running clock. The fact that Deer Park is with a minute left may only get one more play off.
Well, this is the first time they've been in Indian Hill territory all night. We haven't even seen them make it across the 50-yard line until this point, and there's less than a minute left in the fourth quarter. So obviously the game plan that they had coming into this game has not worked at all.
Hurd brought down by the shoelaces. Now 30 seconds left. We'll see if Deer Park gets another playoff.
That was a great tackle that time by Demetrius Baylor.
This very well might be it, and doesn't even look like Deer Park will attempt another play, so that will close it out. A very dominating win for Indian Hill here on senior night, 72-0 over Deer Park. Next week's game is at Reading on Thursday, and then it's playoff time.
We'll have to see if we get the call for playoff time. It's been a fantastic season here this year. My first year doing the play-by-play announcing here along with Graham Moss. It's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun indeed for the final time in the regular season from Tomahawk Stadium. The Indian Hill Braves take it 72-0 for Brandon Greenhill. I am Grant Moss. So long.
Exclusive coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department.